Okay friends, now that our birds are done with the plaster, you'll notice that it's kind of hard like a rock. It's dry, and we're gonna now paint our birds. So we're gonna be using acrylic paint, and later we'll use some paint markers. Now, you are going to use a very fluffy brush, and you even can use a fluffy sponge to paint your bird. And here's why. When you paint your bird, you can't just wipe, you're gonna have to dab into the cracks. So I'm gonna paint my bird blue. It doesn't matter what color you start with, but you should just paint your bird one color to start. So I can start by dabbing the paint down like this. But then as you notice, as I swipe, I'm not kind of getting all the spots. So that's where I'm gonna dab the paint into the cracks with my brush to get a nice smooth area. If you want your bird to be more than one color, that's fine. You can paint certain areas one color and you can paint certain areas another color. But don't try and paint little details. We are going to paint the little details later with our paint markers because they're much skinnier. Our brush is a little bit too big to be painting little details. So we're just using the brush to cover the body of the bird. Okay, finished painting most of my bird. I got in all the cracks here by dabbing with my brush, but I am going to wash my brush off and I'm going to paint the beak of the bird a different color. You can choose to do this or you don't have to. It's up to you. I'm going to wash my brush, wipe it on my sponge, make sure it's nice and clean. Then I think I want to paint the beak of the bird like an orangish yellow color. So I'm going to grab that different color and just carefully paint the bird. Careful because my blue is a little bit wet still, so I want to avoid getting my orange on the blue, otherwise it's going to mix with the blue and create brown. All right, that looks great. Now I'm going to let my bird dry for a minute, and then I'm going to come back in with the paint markers and add some details. So I'm going to give this 5 minutes to dry, and then I'm going to come back. Okay friends, I gave my bird about 5 to 10 minutes to dry, and I know it's dry because I don't see very many shiny marks on my bird. Now I'm going to use paint markers to add some details. Paint markers are just like regular markers, but they have paint inside of them. So I'm going to choose some spots to add some details to my bird. I think I want to add some black eyes to my bird. So when you use paint markers, you just press down like a regular marker and the paint will come out. So you can add whatever details you want to your bird. You can add a face, you can add patterns, you can add texture on the wings. Like maybe I want to have like a bluish pattern on the wings like this. I can draw on the wings. If your paint marker is not working, you need to press the tip and the paint will start to come out. If it's still not working after that, check with Miss Buettner because it might be out of ink. That one looks like it's out of ink. So maybe I'll try to put some pink designs on my bird instead of the blue. And I can do like texture on the wings. I can do like a straight line texture like that. I can put swirly, spirally designs. It's up to me. Whatever details I want to add to my bird with the paint markers, I can add those little tiny details with my paint markers. When I'm done with my bird, I am going to put it on the dry mat and then I am finished. All right, friends, good luck. Get started.